When I was 18, my family couldn't even bother picking me up from the train station after my first term at culinary school. My stepsister said, "We're celebrating Malik. He actually did something with his life." Then my mom texted, "Try not being a burden." I sat alone and said, "Got it. I'm done being your spare." For years later, I changed everything. Now my dad's begging, "Please, we were wrong, come back." The train hissed to a stop like it was exhaling for me. I stepped off, dragging my suitcase behind me, backpack straps digging into my shoulders. I scanned the platform. Nothing. No familiar faces, no signs with my name, not even a text. I pulled out my phone and checked again. Still nothing. It had been 3 hours since I messaged the family group chat that I'd be arriving on the 5:15 from Chicago. I sent another. Just got in. Anyone coming to get me? No response. I sat down on a cold metal bench, trying to stay calm. Maybe they were late. Maybe traffic was bad. Maybe. I was making excuses. My name's Jamal. I'm 21, and I just wrapped up my first term at the Culinary Institute of America. I'd been counting the days to come home. I thought my mom would be waiting in the car, blasting gospel like she always did. That my stepsister Sabrina would run up squealing, calling me Chef J, in that annoying voice that always made me laugh anyway. I even imagined a banner. Something dumb and handmade. Instead, I was alone at the Eastbrook station with a backpack full of knives and 3 missed calls, none from family. I tried calling Mom. Straight to voicemail. Same with my sister. My stepfather's phone rang twice before cutting off. Finally, Sabrina answered. "Hey," she said, sounding distracted. "Hey, I've been sitting here 20 minutes. What's going on?" She hesitated. "We're kinda in the middle of something. Malik got promoted. Mom's throwing a thing for him." I blinked. "You knew I was coming." "I know, but it all happened fast. He got the news yesterday, and you know how Mom is. She wanted to celebrate. So no one thought to swing by the station?" "Jamal," she said, like I was being difficult. "It's not personal." That made me laugh, cold and low. "Of course it's not. I gotta go. People are arriving." The call ended. I stared out at the parking lot. A man loaded his trunk with balloons and a "congrats" banner flapping in the wind. I pulled up my hoodie and sat back down. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mom. "Want a warm welcome? Try not being a burden." I reread it 3 times. No hi. No love you. Just that. I Ubered home. The driver was chatty, asked me if I was visiting for the holidays. I told him I used to live here. He said, "Oh, coming home then?" I just nodded. The roads hadn't changed. Still the same pothole on Lincoln Avenue. Still the old church with peeling paint. But everything felt smaller. Not because the town shrunk. Because I had grown, and no one had noticed. When we pulled up to the house, I could see the lights flashing inside. Laughter, music, silhouettes of people holding drinks. From the street, it looked like a party scene from a movie. I got out, tipped the driver, and stood for a second at the curb. My hand tightened around the suitcase handle. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to go inside anymore. But I did, because it was still home. For now. I stepped into the house and was hit with the smell of barbecue and expensive cologne. The kind of smell that says, "We want to impress." My suitcase bumped against the threshold as I pulled it through. No one looked up. There were at least 20 people in the living room, maybe more spilling into the kitchen and dining area. Music thumped from a Bluetooth speaker on the counter. My mom stood near the fireplace, laughing with her arm looped through Malik's. He wore a tailored blue blazer and the smug look of someone used to being the center of the universe. No one said, "Welcome home." I paused just inside the door, my bag heavy in my hand. Sabrina walked past, her hands full of paper plates. She saw me, blinked, and kept walking. No hug, no smile. Just, "There's no room in the fridge, so if you brought food, leave it in the garage." I didn't say anything. What was the point? I dragged my bags down the hall, brushing past strangers who didn't even ask who I was. One guy spilled his drink on my sleeve and didn't even say sorry. I reached my old room, the door still the same. My name scribbled on a torn piece of masking tape. Inside, it looked untouched, except colder. Dust on the desk. Sheets still wrinkled from when I left in September. Like no one had expected me to return. I dropped my things and stood for a second. Then I walked back to the kitchen, stomach growling. I hadn't eaten since the morning. The kitchen was chaos. People grabbing wings and macaroni. Someone opening wine with their teeth. I grabbed a plate and started scooping rice. Malik brushed past me. "Careful," he said, smirking. "Wouldn't want to mess up the chef's hands." I looked at him. "Good to see you too." He didn't answer. He just grabbed a beer from the fridge and walked away like I wasn't there. Dinner was one long blur of noise. I sat at the far end of the table, sandwiched between someone's coworker and a cousin I hadn't seen in years. I tried talking. No one asked me about school. No one mentioned the fact that I had just come back from one of the top culinary programs in the country. At one point, Malik stood to make a toast. My mom clinked her glass and said to my firstborn, the one who never needed hand-holding. Everyone cheered. I felt that one like a slap. Later, after plates were cleared, I started picking up cups and wiping down the counters. Just a habit. I had always been the cleanup guy. Jamal, my stepdad called from the couch. Take out the trash, will you? We're out of bags again. I froze, holding a dripping Solo cup. Sure, I said, like it was the most natural thing in the world. That night, back in my room, I opened my notebook. The one I used to sketch recipes and write ideas. On a blank page, I wrote, this was the last time I'd come home expecting anything. Then I shut the notebook, turned off the light, and laid in bed with my eyes open for a long, long time. That winter break was the last time I went home willingly. After that, I stayed on campus during holidays, telling people I was just too busy or needed to prep for finals. Truth was, I just couldn't stomach sitting through another family dinner pretending we were anything close to loving. Over the next year, I threw myself into school. I worked 2 part-time jobs, one in the campus dining hall, the other prepping at a bistro downtown that paid just enough to keep me afloat. I didn't mind the hours. In the kitchen, things made sense. People needed you, or they didn't. Effort mattered. My family, on the other hand, they still called, but not to check on me. They'd ask for help with things like resetting a router or reformatting a resume. My mom once sent a screenshot of an email with the message, fix this. I need it sent by 4. No, please. No, how are you? And every time, I did it. I'd stay up late helping Sabrina rewrite her college application essay, walking her through paragraph edits over text. I rewrote Malik's LinkedIn profile because he couldn't figure out what made him sound impressive. I even found myself Venmoing $20 here, $50 there, for things like gas and emergencies. It never stopped, but the thank yous did. At first, I told myself I was just being the good kid, the reliable one, the backbone. But the more it happened, the more I started to feel like an unpaid intern in my own family, invisible, overworked, and underappreciated. Summer came around, and I made the mistake of visiting for a long weekend. I showed up Friday night. Nobody offered to pick me up. I Ubered again. The house was quieter this time. Mom had her feet up on the couch, painting her nails. Sabrina was scrolling through her phone. Malik was arguing with someone on Bluetooth. Didn't expect you, my stepdad said as I walked in. I told y'all I was coming. He shrugged. We've had a lot going on. Later that night, I was upstairs getting my laptop charger when I heard voices coming from the kitchen. I froze at the top of the stairs. We should just use Jamal's fund, my mother said. Her voice was low, serious. Are you crazy? Sabrina whispered. That's his tuition. Yeah, well, Malik's in trouble, Mom replied. And Malik is our future. Jamal will figure something out. He's scrappy. They were talking about the college fund my grandmother left me. She'd set it up before she passed. It wasn't huge, but it had been helping me cover the parts of tuition my scholarship didn't. I'd always thought of it as sacred, untouchable. You think he'd even know? Mom added. He's always so busy playing chef. He doesn't pay attention to money. Something cracked inside me. I went back to my room and didn't sleep. The next morning, I opened my laptop and started compiling every favor I'd done for them over the past year. Every resume, every tech fix, every can you cash app me real quick? I built a spreadsheet. I listed dates, names, services. I included screenshots where I could. Venmo receipts, call logs, email threads. It wasn't about revenge. Not yet. It was about clarity. I had spent years convincing myself they loved me, that they just didn't know how to show it. But love doesn't look like this. Love doesn't use you up and then wonder if they can cash you out. I didn't say anything when I left that weekend. I just hugged Sabrina, gave my mom a stiff nod, let Malik pretend I wasn't there. But on the ride back to campus, watching the trees blur past, I made myself a promise. They'll feel it when I stop being useful. And for the first time in my life, I actually meant it. Graduation was supposed to be a big deal. Not just for me, but for all the kids who came from nothing and clawed their way through. I had survived the knives, the 16-hour days in the kitchen, the brutal critiques from chefs who didn't believe in sugarcoating. I made it. And I wanted anyone to be proud. A month before the ceremony, I texted my family. Hey, my graduation's June 3rd. Got my chef's whites fitted and everything. Would love for you all to come. No reply. A few days later, I tried again. Just following up, graduation's coming up. Let me know if I should save seats. Still nothing. It was my friend Jordan, the pastry guy from Brooklyn who always gave away his croissants to roommates, who finally convinced me to walk. You earned this, man, he said. Don't let nobody take it from you. So I RSVP'd, picked up my cap, and spent the night before the ceremony ironing my whites until every pleat looked crisp. The morning of, I checked my phone. Nothing. I stood backstage with the others, heart pounding, trying to tune out the buzz of families laughing and clapping in the auditorium. One by one, names were called. We walked across the stage to polite applause, and some wild cheers. When they called mine, I stepped into the spotlight and scanned the crowd. Empty chairs in the second row where I had saved 4 spots. My name echoed through the room. I smiled anyway. That's what you do when you're used to being invisible. After the ceremony, everyone flooded outside. Flowers, hugs, cameras. Jordan's mom cried into his shoulder. Another friend's dad shouted, "That's my baby," loud enough to shake the leaves on the quad trees. I sat alone on a bench, my whites already stained with sweat, my certificate folded neatly in my lap. I watched as families piled into cars for celebratory dinners. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Malik had a real estate open house today. We couldn't reschedule. Hope it went okay." That was it. Not, "We're proud of you." Not even congrats. Just another excuse. I sat there staring at the screen until it blurred. Then I opened the family group chat, the same one that had been quiet since Thanksgiving, and deleted it from my phone. Gone. That night, I opened every shared account. The streaming services, the Wi-Fi plan, the Spotify Premium I'd been covering for years. I logged in, changed passwords, removed their devices one by one. Then I canceled the auto-pays tied to my card. Closed the old joint checking account my mom still used for emergencies. Finally, I changed my number. No forwarding message. No warning. Just silence. It wasn't about revenge. It was about peace. They didn't show up when it counted. So from now on, they wouldn't get access to the parts of me that mattered. Not my time. Not my talent. Not even my Netflix login. For the first time, I chose myself. And honestly, it felt like freedom. The fallout started the next morning. At first, it was just a couple of missed texts. Then the real storm hit. "Sabrina. Jamal, the Wi-Fi's not working. Did we forget to pay it again? Mom. Spotify logged me out. Can you reset it? I have a playlist I need for work. Malik. My website's down. You were the admin, right? Can you check it?" I didn't answer any of them. That weekend, I went to work like nothing had happened. I prepped 60 covers at a local French bistro, burned through 3 pans of ratatouille, and plated a lamb shoulder that made my chef nod, which was basically his version of a standing ovation. By the end of Saturday night, my feet were shot and my hands smelled like thyme and onion. But I was smiling. Meanwhile, my family was in a slow, quiet panic. On Monday, my phone lit up with a voicemail from Mom. Her voice was shaky, not angry, but controlled, that fake calm she used when she was trying to guilt you into feeling bad. "Jamal," she said, "you're punishing everyone because you're bitter. You think this is about justice, but it's not. It's childish. Family doesn't do this." I stared at my screen. Childish. This from the woman who left me on a train platform with no ride home. That evening, I opened the spreadsheet, the one I had quietly built since last summer. I added 3 new entries. Repaired Malik's online real estate portal. Jan, no thank you given. Edited Sabrina's scholarship essay, February, no acknowledgement. Family graduation absence, June 3rd, no apology. I converted it to PDF. Renamed it, Invoicing the Invisible, Jamal's Family Ledger. Then I sent it. Not with a dramatic message. Just a simple email. Subject, follow-up on outstanding contributions. To Mom, Malik, Sabrina, and Stepdad. Attachment, invoicing_the_invisible.pdf. Body, please find attached a breakdown of my unpaid labor, financial support, and unreciprocated assistance over the past 3 years. This is not a threat. This is documentation. Jamal. I didn't expect a reply. I just wanted them to see it in writing. Wanted them to stare at numbers and realize I wasn't just helpful. I was holding up the damn house. But then I did one more thing. I made a burner Twitter account. Pseudonym, no face pic, no link to my real life. Just a fresh handle and a few followers. I posted screenshots, redacted names, of course, of some of the more absurd family messages and my breakdown spreadsheet. The tweet. Imagine missing your son's graduation, but still asking for his Hulu login the next day. Here's how I realized I was just the IT guy in my own family. Hashtag scapegoat no more. I didn't expect it to blow up, but it did. Thousands of likes, dozens of retweets, comments like, "Been there. This is why I don't talk to half my cousins. We really got to stop calling it helping when they treat you like an employee." Someone even tagged it, "Modern Cinderella, but make it tech support." By Wednesday, Malik texted again. "People are asking why my website is still down. This is affecting my business, Jamal." I still didn't reply. Thursday, Sabrina sent a DM from a new account. "Can we please talk? I didn't know how much you were holding inside." She didn't get a response either. For the first time, the family machine stalled because the silent part finally walked off the job. They didn't realize how much of their world ran on Jamal until Jamal unplugged the system. And I wasn't restarting it. By the following week, the cracks turned to collapse. The email I'd sent, the spreadsheet, the quiet accounting of every dollar, every favor, every late-night rescue, had begun making rounds. Not just through my immediate family, through the whole tree. I knew because my Aunt Renee called me. I hadn't heard from her in years. Her voice was low, like she didn't want anyone else in the house to hear. Jamal, I read what you sent. You're not crazy. You were generous, and they were leeching off you. I didn't know what to say. I just sat there on the bench outside work, fingers gripping the phone, heart pounding in my chest. They made you feel invisible, she said. But this made you real again. That same night, I crafted one more message, short, sharp, and impossible to ignore. Subject, transparency and closure. 2. Extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. Attachment, receipts _Jamal full.pdf. Body. For those unaware of the situation, attached is a record of my unpaid labor and financial contributions over the past 3 years. This is not sent out of anger. It's accountability. You deserve to know the truth, especially if you've only heard one side. Jamal. The attachment had everything. Side-by-side comparisons of asks and responses, Venmo screenshots, dates with zero gratitude, even voice memo transcripts of me walking Malik through his pitch deck while he bragged to others that he'd built it from scratch. I didn't editorialize. I didn't insult anyone. Just clean facts and dates, line after line of quiet exploitation. The fallout came fast. Malik's girlfriend, some influencer type who always posted about loyalty and honesty, broke up with him publicly. Her story that night was a screenshot of the email with the caption, "If this is how you treat your own brother, imagine what you'll do to a partner." Sabrina stopped posting altogether. No more study selfies. No more grind mode captions. Just radio silence. My mother, according to a cousin, had a small breakdown. I pictured her at the kitchen table, wine glass shaking in her hand, realizing the golden child narrative was starting to rot at the edges. Then something wild happened. One of my former professors forwarded me a message from an alum who had seen the screenshots on Twitter. He wrote, "If Jamal's the kind of person who documents abuse this clearly and professionally, I'd trust him running a kitchen, a business, or a damn city. Give him my contact." But the one that hit hardest? Chef Lynn, my mentor from school, a hard ass with Michelin stars and zero time for drama, called me out of the blue. She didn't say hello. She said, "That email you wrote? That was an accountability masterpiece. I read it 3 times. You're ready." Ready for what? I asked. To build your own thing. And that was it. 2 weeks later, I signed a lease on a studio space in the city. Small, industrial, nothing fancy. But the bones were good. It smelled like concrete and freedom. That day, I stood in the middle of the empty room and whispered. They saw a burden. I built a business. And for once, no one talked over me. I didn't know the exact moment things shifted from uncomfortable to catastrophic for them, but I knew when it started showing. Malik's real estate hustle took a nosedive after his girlfriend posted my email on her story, tagging his business account like a death sentence. Her caption, "Here's what self-made really looks like." Spoiler, it's his brother's spreadsheet. Clients started backing out. His name became a whisper at networking events. The website stayed down. His LinkedIn status changed from CEO to open to work, all without a single word to me. But the messages started trickling in. It began with Sabrina. "Hey, I know things got bad. I miss talking to you." Left on read. Then my stepdad. "Your mom hasn't been herself. She cries a lot. Can we fix this?" Deleted. Finally, Malik. "I know I messed up. I was going through a lot. I didn't mean to take advantage." I didn't reply. I just sent him a Venmo request for $1,875. The memo line: resume writing, pitch review, tech support, silence. No comment. No payment. And then the thing I least expected happened. My mother showed up. She didn't text. Didn't call. Just showed up at my culinary showcase. I was standing behind a long table of curated tasting dishes, lamb lollipops, roasted beet tarts, tiny savory eclairs when I saw her. Hair done. Lipstick perfect. Eyes nervous. She moved through the crowd like someone out of place, like she knew she was walking into something delicate. I met her at the edge of the room before she could say anything. "Hi, baby," she said quietly, reaching out. I didn't hug her. "You came for the food or the apology?" She blinked. "I just wanted to see you. I miss you." I let the silence stretch. Then I said, "I was always here. You just never looked." She stood there, blinking fast like she might cry. But she didn't. Just nodded, softly, like she knew this wasn't going to end the way she wanted. She looked at the dishes behind me. "You really did it," she whispered. "I did," I said. "Without any of you." A beat passed. "Can I come in?" I shook my head. "Not tonight." And I turned and walked back to my station. That night, the showcase sold out. People clapped. People posted photos of their plates with captions like, "Chef Jamal is the truth." I smiled for photos. I plated food for strangers. I stood tall in a white coat with my name stitched on the breast pocket. And I didn't miss them. Not even a little. They were outside, still spinning stories. I was inside, full room, clean plates, no guilt. Finally in power. Finally respected. Finally free. It didn't take long for Malik to go online and start spinning the story. He posted a photo of himself in front of a rundown property, captioned, "Still standing. Built everything on my own. No handouts." I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. Part of me wanted to let it go. Just one more lie in a long chain of lies. But then I thought about all those nights I stayed up rewriting his pitch decks, answering his calls when I was waist deep in dish duty, spotting him rent money without interest or thanks. So I left one comment. "You're welcome." That was it. No hashtags. No context. Just enough to remind him that history, real history, has receipts. I didn't check the replies. I didn't need to. Because by then, I wasn't focused on their story anymore. Business at my new kitchen space was growing. Slowly, but word of mouth is powerful, especially when it's powered by people who read your story and saw themselves in it. Former classmates sent referrals. Chef Lynn tagged me in every event post. Even a food blogger reached out for an interview, said my spreadsheet was the most honest dish I've ever served. I got a text from Sabrina one night. A long one. It was an essay, almost. A wall of words about guilt and silence and family pressure. She ended it with, "I didn't protect you. I'm sorry. I hope you don't hate me." I read it twice. Then I closed the app and set my phone down. I didn't respond. Not out of malice, just clarity. I didn't need to be her confessor. Not anymore. Instead, I poured that energy into something else. I started a blog. Quiet and anonymous. Nothing fancy, just a black and white site called Backup Plan. Each post told a small piece of what it's like to be the reliable one, the invisible one, the one people only call when the Wi-Fi is down or their lives are falling apart. People started finding it. They commented, messaged, shared their own stories. "You just described my whole childhood. I've been the family IT guy for 15 years and nobody even knows my birthday." This made me feel seen. It felt right. Not loud. Not viral. Just honest. One night, after locking up the kitchen and sweeping the floor, I stood by the door with the lights off. The space was quiet. My hands smelled like garlic and lemon. My apron was dusted with flour. I didn't feel bitter, or lonely, or in need of a response. I felt full. I stepped outside into the night, pulled down the metal shutter, and turned the key in the lock. The click echoed down the empty street like a period at the end of a sentence. Then I walked home, peaceful, untethered, because I had finally written my own ending. And I liked how it tasted.